Record.
Prabodhitam
Prabodhitam Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Narayanena
Narayana
Swayam
Swayam
Vyasena
Vyasena
Pradita
Pratita
Puranamurina
Puranam
मध्ये Mahabharatam Advaitamrudavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayini
Ashtadashaധ്യായിനി
Bhatvam
Bhattvamanusantatami
Anusantatami Bhagavad Gita
Bhagavad-gīte
Bhavat
Bhagavad-veshini.
Veshini. Shloka 1 we have to read verse 1.
Yeah. Yes.
The basis for Arjuna's question. Arjunovacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamiच्छामि Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Pritakeshi Nishudana Pritakeshi Nishudana Arjuna Uvacha said, Mahabaho, O mighty armed Krishna, Hrishikesha, O Lord of the senses, Keshi Keshi Nishudana, O slayer of Keshi, Sanyasasya of Sanyasa, Tattvam, the truth, Tyagasya cha, and that of Tyaga, Pritak, distinctly, Veditum Ichchami, I want to know. Arjuna said, Rishikesha, Krishna, the slayer of Keshi, the mighty armed, I want to know distinctly the truth of sannyasa and tyaga. Both the words sannyasa and tyaga means renunciation, and Krishna has used both throughout the Gita. Now Arjuna wants to know what...
One minute. Yeah.
Both the words sannyasa and tyaga mean renunciation, and Krishna has used both throughout the Gita. Now Arjuna wants to know what, if any, is the distinction that Krishna is making between sannyasa and tyaga. There is a basis for this question. When Lord Krishna says, Tyaktva karma pala asangam nitya triptaha nirashrayah. He speaks Gita 4.2.
Yeah.
20.
20. Sense.
There is a
Immediately
basis.
after that, karmani, akarmaya paschet, akarmani cha karmaya. After that it comes. Okay. So that's why he says, karma palam asangam nitya triptaha nirasrayaha. Okay, read that. Read further. Yeah.
He speaks of the one who, giving up his attachment to karmapala and thus being not dependent upon anything else, is happy with himself. Here, tyaga is the renunciation of karmapala.
There again, no, atmani atmana tushtaha. That came. That is what he means by he is happy with himself. So that is what he is quoting. So, quoting that he says, not being dependent upon anything, is happy with himself. So, read further, yeah.
Here, tyaga is the renunciation of karmapala. But when he says, nirashir yata chitta.
Nirasihi. Actually, when it comes to compound, it becomes nirasir. Actually, it is nirasihi. Yeah, nirasihi.
Nirashihi yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha. Gita 4.21.
Yeah, all in the 4th chapter. Sannyasa, explanation of sannyasa.
He talks about the one who has given up all ownership towards the objects in the world. The word tyaga is used in the sense of sarvakarma sannyasa. In another place, when he says yoga sanyasta karmanam 25, Gita 4.41, the one who has given up all karmas by yoga. The word sannyasa is used in the sense of the renunciation of karma. In Nyayacha, Nitya sannyasi yona dveshtina
Na dveshti na kamshati.
na dveshti na kankshati.
This also I have explained. I have sent a note also. Yeah.
Gita 5.3. He defines the sannyasi as the one who neither despises anything nor yearns for anything. Here, a karma yogi is referred to as a sannyasi. In the instance where he says, Yukta karma palam tyaktva shantim apnoti naikshitam.
Naishtikim.
Naistikim.
Naistikim. Yeah.
27, Gita 5.12. The word tyaktva is used to indicate the renunciation of the karma yogi who, giving up the results, gains lasting peace. Then again, when he says, Sarva karmani manasa
Manasa
sanyasya aste shukam vasi, giving up all karmas
Aste
vashi, shukam vashi, giving up all karmas by knowledge, the one who has self-mastery rests happily. 28, Gita 5.13. He uses the word sannyasa in the sense of sarvakarma sannyasa, born of knowledge. But the verse, anashritaha karmapalam karyam karma karoti yasa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnihi na cha akriha. 29.
See, anasritaha karmapalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. In the sense, what he says is, when you do karma, you karma palam, you are not depending on karma palam. So that is one way of doing karma. The another is na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. In the sense, a yogi gives up karma also. So either you can give up karma totally, or even when you do karma palam, you nirasritaha. In the sense, you don't, both are mentioned. Karma pala tyagam as well as karma tyagam. So both you are telling, which is better, he is asking now. The question is here is whether karma pala tyagam or karma tyagam. So that is what he is now asking for clarification, which Bhagavan will explain.
He talks about the one who has given up all ownership towards the objects in the world.
Tells us that.
Oh.
Tells us that the one
who performs action because it is to be done, not motivated by the result of action, is a sannyasi and not one who has merely given up the fire rituals or other secular actions. He is the real sannyasi and he is the karma yogi. Here, the karma yogi is equated to the sannyasi. And again, the same idea is conveyed in the following verse. Yam sannyasam iti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava. O Arjuna, what is called sannyasa is also called yoga. 30. Gita 6.2. The following instances refer to a karma yogi. No one who has not given up all his sankalpas becomes a yogi. Nahi asanyasta asanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kaschana. 31. Gita 6.2.
Basically, sankalpa means result oriented, some desire is there. So, when you without a sankalpa, without any sankalpa like which I have been telling, the only sankalpa is Bhakta Samasta Durita Kshayatvam Sri Parameshwara Prityartham. Where your sankalpa is what? It is not a sankalpa, like it is a Durita Kshayartham and Parameshwara Prityartham. So that the idea is Antakarana Shuddhi and to remain in a what you call Chitta Naischalyam and Chitta Ekagratam for study purpose. In that you are not going to achieve anything. You want to stay in a pure mind where you are ready to study or ready to contemplate and all that. So in that even though Durita Kshayartham Parameshwara Prityartham that is there, it is not a sankalpa. It is basically a no sankalpa. Whereas every other sankalpa involves a desire. Whereas sannyasam means desireless. So you cannot have a sankalpa and say sannyasi. So that's what he is trying to say. So that is being That is what is conveyed in this verse. Yam sannyasam iti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava. He is asking explanation for that. Yeah.
The following instances refer to a karma yogi. No one who has not given up all his sankalpas becomes a yogi. Nahi asanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kaschana. 31.
Yes, that is what is the final thing he is telling.
Gita 6.2. The one who has given up all sankalpas is called an accomplished yogi. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudaha
Yoga rudaha
yoga
tada uchyate.
rudaha tada uchyate. 32. Gita 6.4.
Yoga arudaha meaning in the sense
Yoga
one who has climbed the horse of yoga. Arudaha means horse of yoga means when he has got a command over yoga. So because when a person claims the horse, he has got the command over the horse. In the same way, yoga arudaha meaning you have the claim, you have got the command over yoga. In the sense, the sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Without any sankalpa other than antakarna shuddhi, a person is able to be a yogi in terms of all his karmas, all Vedic karmas like Durdakshayatam, Parameshwara Prityartam, Antakarna Shuddhyartam, Jnana Vyaptyartam, like that. In the sense, even though you may be telling so many sankalpas outside because Vadhyar says and all that, but if you have this sankalpa within, in all your activities, then you can be assured that yoga arudaha, you are sankalpa varchitaha, you are interested in studying and understanding the reality of the self, jiva jagat ishvara, and stay. And because you are very sure that your understanding is clear that ultimately the ananda or the happiness you seek is by being yourself. That you have understood by going through all the studies and by your own experiences in life. That when you do a sankalpa for a given object, once you achieve it, you are satisfied for 5 minutes. Again, another desire comes. You go ahead and achieve it. Then you are desireless for 5 minutes. So the desirelessness is your real being, is the Ananda, which you don't initially didn't realize. So because of that, you went after one desire after another. But after going through the whole thing, now you understand that the desirelessness is my natural Ananda Swarupam. Now, why my Swarupa itself is Ananda? Why should I try to get it by achieving this and that and all that? So instead of, I should tell, no, instead of hunting for happiness, you can happily hunt. In the sense, you do everything, whatever needs to be done, happily. Not for happiness, for acquiring happiness. Because happiness does not lie in that. Happiness is your reality, your Swarupa. Once that is there, your Sankalpa will be Nirsankalpa. And as far as, even if you do the karma. And sannyasi, in the sense, since he has no other Sankalpa, he doesn't take up any karma. So that is both ways the Sankalpa Varjitam is there. There is an equation, which now he asks for clarification. Even though I have told this, he is asking for clarification on Bhagavan's words himself. Yeah.
Completely giving up all karmas born of sankalpa. Sankalpa prabhavan. Kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshataha. 33. Gita 6.24.
Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan aseshataha. Without asheshataha means without any even iota of no remnants. ஒரு அல்டீரியரா ஒரு சின்ன நப்பாசைன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, அது கூட இல்லாம, நப்பாசை கூட இல்லாம you are able to sarvan kaman tyaktva, if you are able to have your sankalpa like that, then with that mind you read further.
Gita 6.24. With the mind endowed with sannyasa yoga, being free, you will come to me. Sannyasa yoga, yuktatma, vimuktaha, mam upaisyasi. 34.
Yeah,
Gita
he
9.12.
himself says once a person has that sort of a thing, yuktatma, he is already yuktatma and vimuktaha. He is already, he doesn't come to me is only upacharam. In the sense, like we have said, no, yata pravritti bhutana mena sarvam idam tadam swakarmana tam nabhyacha siddhim vindati manava. In the sense, once that person reaches that, then he is ananyas chintayanto mam. Eshana Variupaste, Teshan Nityabhiktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. That Yogakshemam is only Upacharam. He is already one with Bhagavan. What is the question of Yogam and Kshemam? It's all Bhagavan's Yogakshemam is his own Yogakshemam. So they are not separate. So that Yogakshemam is only Upacharam in that situation. That's what he is telling. He says Yoga Yuktatma Vimuktaha already is free. Vimuktaha means free. Mam Upeshyasi. He comes to me. That's what he said. Upasanam. Upeshyasi meaning is nearby. Upa meaning nearby. Is very close to me. God. Yeah.
With the mind endowed with sannyasa yoga,
Those who are committed to me.
those who are committed to me, giving up all action, ye sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. 35, Gita 12.11.
12.6.
12.6, I'm sorry.
12th chapter, no, where he is concluding the argument on Vishwara. Yeah.
Gaining self-mastery, then giving up the results of all actions. Sarva karmapala tyagam tataha kuru yatatmavan. 36, Gita 12.11.
Sarva karma palatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. There again, he is talking about this. Even though you may do karma, karma pala you are not really very keen on. So tyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. In the sense, either you do karma tyaga or karma pala tyaga. Both are, if in absolute terms, if it is done properly, both are equated. Now he is asking for clarification. He is given all that. Now he is asking for clarification. Yeah.
Renouncing?
Following instances.
No. The following instances.
The following instances refer to sarva karma sannyasa. Renouncing all karmas unto me by knowledge. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa.
Yeah.
37, Gita 3.3. My devotee who has renounced all 3.30
3.30.
sorry maxல 3.30 சொல்லக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லி பழக்கம் எனக்கு அப்படியே 3.
The verse number it is.
Okay.
30 verse.
maxல decimal point 2 சொல்லக்கூடாது அப்படியே sorry. My devotee who has renounced all undertaking is beloved to me. Sarva aramba parityagi yo mad bhaktaha same priyaha. 38, Gita 12.16.
Yeah.
The one who has renounced all undertakings is known as the one who has gone beyond the gunas. Sarva aramba parityagi gunatita sa uchyate.
Yeah. Here aramba parityagi meaning once you begin an action meaning you are a karmi basically. The aramba is equivalent to karma only. Sarva aramba parityagi means sarva karma parityagi gunatitaha sa uchyate. Gunatitaha meaning he says Traigunya Visaya Vedaha Nistaigunyo Bhavarjuna. He tells that to Arjuna. In the sense, you have to grow beyond the three gunas because that is your reality. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tamo guna is part of the Prakriti, part of the Maya, and that is for the all classification in whatever that is happening in the world is classified into these three. When you grow above all these things, you are in your reality, Swarupa. That is why he says Gunatitaha Sauchyate. That's what he says.
All this looks confusing. The words sannyasa and tyaga are sometimes used identically, sometimes differently. Further, if tyaga means giving up of action, that is karma tyaga, there can be no connection to yoga because karma cannot be given up in karma yoga. Doing the action that is to be done is part of yoga. If tyaga is giving up of karma, between tyaga and yoga, there is opposition.
If tyaga is giving up karma,
of karma, between tyaga and yoga,
between tyaga and yoga,
there is opposition. Yoga is something that one has to do and tyaga is giving up. How can I give up karma and make it yoga? If I give up karma, it becomes sannyasa. Naturally, Arjuna has a basis for a doubt. Both sannyasa and tyaga means renunciation. However, we find that Lord Krishna uses the word tyaga more often than not in association with yoga. For example, in this instance, when he says, Yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma suddhaye.
Atma suddhaye meaning antakarma suddha. That's what you are saying. Yeah. Yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma suddhaye.
Karma yogis giving up attachment perform action for purification of the mind. This is a very clear statement. Karma cannot create Atma Shuddhi, but if it's backed by renunciation of attachment to the results of action, Sangam Tyaktva it can. Otherwise, karma can only bind you, it cannot release you. And he says, Brahmani
Brahmani,
Adaya
Brahmani Adaya Karmani.
Adaya Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Karoti.
Karmani.
No. Brahmani Adaya Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Karotiyaha Lipyate na sa papena Padma Padram Ivambasa. We have seen that also. Yeah.
Like
You
even
read
the
that.
lotus.
You read that again.
Yeah. Brahmani Adaya Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Karotiyah Sangam Tyaktva Karotiyah Lipyate Karotiyah Lipyate Nasapapena Padmapatram Ivambasa.
He has explained that. You read that. Explanation he has already given that. Yeah.
Like even the lotus leaf that is not affected by water, so too the one who performs actions, giving up attachment, offering them to Brahman, is not affected by any action.
Yeah. So that is what he says. In the sense, even though you are doing karma, you are unattached to the palam and all that. That is what he has explained by being on a water on a lotus leaf. It is unattached, even though it appears together. It is totally, there is no attachment to the lotus leaf. That is why when you see in the sun also, water on the lotus leaf will look a complete circle. In science terms, they say the surface tension is the least. That means what? Doesn't touch. Because of the surface of the lotus leaf has got some minute capillaries which ensures that it doesn't touch, doesn't get wet. Just after dropping the water, if you look at the lotus leaf, no, it will remain unwetted. So that is the example that is being given. Likewise, if you can be in life, don't get wetted by anything that is happening. You must be doing for the worldly sake, but you will not be touched by its palam or there is no sangatvam. So that's what is quoting. Adaya karmani sangam tyaktva karotiha lipyate na sapapena padmapatram ivamasa. Yeah, read it further. We will be explaining all this. Yeah.
When you say to be detached and not be this thing, for example, Swamiji, you are very, you are my guru, you are near and dear to me, like that. Say for example, you are giving some comment to me, do like this, do like that. Now, it may be applicable to me, it may not be applicable to me. So in that case, see this part I am little confused. Some people whom we say are very important to us and say something, Amma, Appa. Now, I'm not attached to them, but I would like to listen what they say. Some people, what I'm seeing is, they detach means completely detach. They are
No, that is where this attachment, detachment, there is a problem there. The word itself, because of the limitation of the usage. Best is not identified. I don't generally use the word attachment. I always use the word identification. See, Sangam Tyaktva means you don't identify with that. If you don't identify with that, even your body, mind and all that, it is not a question of attachment. It is a question of identification. What is that? Identification is, body is me, but I am not the body. B is A, but A is not B. That is the way you have to look at it. That is called disidentification. That is what he means by Sangam Tyaktva, meaning don't get identified with it. You do whatever it is, and you will be able to, if you are not identified with it, you will be able to do whatever be the consequence, and you will not be anxious about the consequence and all that. You will be doing what you are supposed to do without any identification. That is what he means. So the attachment means there is nothing like physical, and there is no even mental attachment. It is a question of identification. Identification comes out of understanding. See, identification is, once you disidentify means what? You understand the reality already. That is why you are able to disidentify. See, attachment comes between objects at the same level of reality. Okay, if you are able to discern a reality which is not in the Vyavaharika level, all your attachment, etc., whatever relationships with reference to objects or with reference to people, is at the same level of reality. Whereas identification, suppose once you understand the reality levels, Atma, in all of us is a different level of reality, changeless reality, whereas everything else is changing. So how can a changeless be attached to a changing? It's not possible. Only that you have to just understand it. Once you understand, automatically the question of attachment does not arise. Attachment is possible only at the same level of reality. Okay, that so once you understand, then the identification will not be there. Then everything else falls in place. You do whatever you need to do at the same level of reality. And Vyavaharika level, you'll be doing the whatever you need to do, you'll do. But at the reality level, you understand that it is not your the sense you it's all in the Vyavaharika level, meaning transactionally it is all true. But in terms of reality, your Atma is what? Changeless. You are a changeless being. And how can it get touched by anything? Whether it is relationship or objects. Either way, it cannot get touched. Because there's no avayava that we have explained before also. For you to get touched at the same level of reality should be there, and there should be something like it should be having a avayava, meaning limbs. The part can attach to another part. A hand can hold to another hand. But how can a hand hold an air or even space? Even at the same level of reality, hand cannot hold space. Because space is of a slightly different, even within the Vyavahara, space is of a different reality. Whereas we say in consciousness or awareful being, even space itself is in consciousness, but consciousness is not in space. So when we go to sleep, we are conscious, but there's no space inside. There's no space, no time, and all that. So at that level of reality we are talking about, identity, once you understand, it comes out of understanding. That identification, you have to understand that you are a disidentified person. Then attachment itself is not an issue at all. So here he uses the word attachment, but basically it's identification. That I think is a better terminology to use so that you are clear in your thinking. So identification is the most important. Attachment is purely at the Vyavaharika level. There will be an attachment in the sense at the same level within the family of son, father, mother, and all that. Since they are all doing the same level of Vyavahara, there will be plus minus, there will be you will accept, you will not accept, and all that. But here what we are talking about is Sangam Tektva, meaning you don't identify. That's precisely what you have to say is B is A, but A is not B, which Swamiji has been explaining all through his talks and all that. So that level of understanding has to be very clear. Once that is clear, then this problem will not be there. Even question will not be there. That is what again we will be explaining to him.
Okay.
What he says is he's going to explain that further. Yeah. But since you are asked me, I just told you. Yeah.
Like even the lotus leaf that is not affected by water, so too the one who performs actions giving up attachment, offering them to Brahman, is not affected by any action.
See, in this case also, the lotus leaf and water are the same level of reality. But as an example, he says typically, like in terms of the science part of it. The science part of it is the lotus leaf is so configured that water cannot wet it. So that as a limited example, only that much is the example. You should not immediately say, no, lotus and water are the same level of reality. No. It is only an example. So that is why an example should be used only for the purpose for which it is meant. You should not totally try to get it into the Darshtanta. That is what you are trying to prove. Here only it says Padma Padram Ivambasa, meaning lotus leaf cannot be wetted by water. In the same way, once a person does not identify, he does not get affected by whatever is happening around him. He just goes about doing things without getting affected because he understands his level of reality being different. So that sort of that is a Shruti. That having come all the way now up to 18th chapter, that understanding has to be very clear that we are Asangaha is our reality. And that once it is there, all these arguments will fall in place. He will anyway explain it further. Yeah.
41. Gita 5.10. In instances such as these, the word Tyaga is often used in the context of Karma Yoga. At times, the word Sannyasa is also used in the same sense. We will see that the word sannyasa generally means renunciation of action, karma sannyasa and tyaga, renunciations of the result
Karma
of.
no. Means renunciation of action is karma sannyasa and tyaga is karma
Oh,
pala tyaga.
sorry.
Finally, he is trying to say that only. Karma sannyasa and karma pala tyaga I will explain now. Yeah.
Renunciation of action, karma sannyasa, and tyaga, renunciation of the results of action, karma pala tyaga. Later, Krishna is going to say, giving up all dharma, sarva dharman parityajya, 42, Gita 18.66.
Later, now it
Take
is going to
refuge
come with
in
the
me.
last verse of the Upadesha almost, that where he says that. Yeah.
Here, the word tyaga means renunciation of all actions, sarva karma sannyasa, which is based on pure atma jnana, knowledge of the self.
Yeah, basically what he means is Sarva Karma Sannyasa meaning Jnana Karma Sannyasa, by understanding. By understanding, you are not in any way, your reality is not in any way has any connection with your all your activities. Once that understanding is there, even though you may be doing, still you are a Sarva Karma Sannyasi because your understanding is very clear, which is based on pure Atma Jnana, knowledge of the self. So that is what is a whole Tatparya of Gita. Gita talks about Sarva Karma Sannyasa in terms of Jnana Karma Sannyasa, by understanding. So once you say by understanding sannyasa, whether you do or you don't do, it's immaterial. If you do, you are very clear that you are at the level of your reality is at level of identification where is whether whatever be the result, whatever action, all are happening at a transactional level. It doesn't touch me. So even if you are doing, and if you don't do, you take to sannyasa because still the reality is you are not an the reality is not an identified person. So all your karmas which you have been doing all along, they have paid off. They paid off in the sense they have given you that grace wherein you are able to get a guru, get the understanding that you are Purnam here and now, whether you do any karma or not. And for you to live a contemplative life, you have to officially take sannyasa by giving up karma. By what Agni Shakshiya karma எடுத்துக்கிறோம் இல்லையா first. அதே Agni Shakshiya we have to give away all the karma. You cannot just like that go away. You have to do it properly. So that is what is being done as sannyasa. So either way, whether you do karma and with the understanding or give up karma with the understanding, what is important is understanding. So that is why the key is jnana karma sannyasa is the key. And the only thing is that the problem is even at that level of understanding, suppose you have doubts whether you are still there is a semblance of whether any what you call attachment is there. You want to I have understood, but I will enjoy that sort of a anyway nothing matters. I can still enjoy that sort of a under current of enjoyment and indulging is there, that has to be given up by giving up the karma or moving away, whatever. In the sense, that is what is being told in terms of sannyasa. That is why that putreshanayaha, vitteshanayaha, lokeshanayaha, vittaya, bhikshacharyam charanti. That is why that vitteshanaya and all that, the undercurrent of your attachment towards, I understood everything, but I will stay and enjoy all the family facilities and all that. What difference it make? I won't do any karma. I will give up all karma. I will not do any sardam, no satya, nitya karma, nemitika karma. I will sit and enjoy. But because I have understood, no, there will be two things. One is there can be this problem of indulgence in your own psyche. Second is it is not conducive to the other people in the society because you will be giving a wrong impression that you can sit and while away without doing any karma because you have understood. That means what? I can also say that I don't have to do. You will be getting a wrong, getting a, what you call. You will be setting a wrong example to others in the society. So that is why if you are not going to give up karma, move away. That is, so both the reasons are there. In order to ensure that you are in line with the what you call karma vidhi in terms of family, grasta, ashrama, and all that, and also that your giving up should be true. There should not be any basically psychologically you may not still be enjoying something, trying to enjoy something, giving up karma. that will be counterproductive. That will only it will make you dull and make you not the sense. At least by doing karma, you'll be active and all that. You will not be applying anything. You'll be just idling away your time. That's also not good. You must be able to do something like contemplative life, and you must be able to teach. You must be able to share it with others. All those things come in the sannyasa part of it. But karma yogi meaning you will be still active. Whatever you will have some responsibility, that is why still. But he also has the understanding. But he will be active. He will be doing all the karma, what is to be done properly. So both he will explain now. In the 18th chapter, these both the things he will clearly explain. What is karma tyaga and what is karma pala tyaga. What is karma sannyasa, what is sarva karma sannyasa. All this will explain so that any doubts will all be clear. Yeah.
Actually, Swamiji, if you see our Jagat, if you see our Jagat Gurus and like you, all people, we are all calm, sitting, meditating kind of persons. If you look at that Patanjali yoga guru, he's running literally every day, jogging, running with shoes, and then he is also doing yoga. Now that yoga that he is doing, will that come under uh, like what we are doing is karma pala, like what we are doing. No, you are in sannyasa. What is he doing? He is in sannyasa yoga, because he is
He's
completely
not
yoga.
That's where
sannyasi.
there can be in the sense he only will know, because the problem is Swamiji used to say, I think I have also mentioned, you should not be selling agarbatti. Swami used to say after taking sannyasa, you should not be selling agarbattis. In the sense, you
Oh.
should not be doing any commercial fiduciary transactions, to be putting it technically, fiduciary, where money is involved, where there is a profit involved, profit motivation is involved. All those things you should avoid. Basically, Vitteshanayaha is one of the vows. Having done that, you cannot be running a corporate and all that. So that problem is there. That is why that sannyasa model is there. And so either you be a yogi full time or you be a sannyasi. You
He's
don't
a
be
yogi.
both, right? Because it can create confusion in the society. The same question which you are asking, many people will be asking. So that was not there. In earlier times, it was all not there. Sannyasi was sannyasi, person who has understood karma, rishis are all doing karmas, staying in the family, but they knew all that. So they were even then also they were teaching, but they were very clear. They are the Drashasrama, they were doing that Nitya Naimitya karma very clearly. And the sannyasi just moved out. So that bifurcation, that is why that Varnashrama dharma was prevalent. It was so that even this Varnashrama dharma, since it is not there now, it's all a confusion basically. You don't know what is who is brahmachari, who is grahastha, who is sannyasi. All are confused. So the live-in relationship and all those things, we don't know really what is. So that's all. That is why you have to be what is appropriate to the given situation. You have to go by that. You have to apply your minds and understand. That is why this understanding of life through Vedanta is more important than just going by the structure. The structure is not there. Previously, it was there. So even without understanding, people just stayed within the structure and they lived their life and went. But that also created some grace, and they will all have. That is why that even if you don't understand, you will come back and understand. That sort of a promise was given and all that. Because it is within the structure. But now the structure is not there. Only understanding is the only way you can emancipate yourself. That is why understanding of Vedanta is more important than Veda. Because Veda karma, previously it was guaranteed. Because it was all being done properly. Everything was there, Samagri was there, everything, people were following that Varnashrama Dharma. The priest was really a priest. He himself used to be an Agnihotri and all that. But nowadays, no priest does any Agnihotram and all that. So it's all very, very difficult. That is why we are not able to defend Varnashrama Dharma. Even though Varnashrama Dharma is very, very scientific in the sense, even in any society, there are always thinkers, there are always doers, there are always administrators, there are always people with financial capabilities. These four people are there in any society even today. But we don't call them Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Because a Brahmana does all the four, a Kshatriya does all the four. So we are not able to classify. But in terms of what you call In terms of the attributes, these things still remain. There are thinkers, there are people who are financially doing business, there are administrators, there are warriors, there are people who can do only labor work. So that's that even now it is available in any company. But it is all we have to understand by their job only, but we cannot christen them as Brahmanas and all that. Previously they were christened and they were guna, which we have explained before also. Guna karma vibhagasaha, not by caste or not by birth. It is by guna karma vibhagasaha, which is not there. That is why we are having these confusions. More so, even what do you call it? Even at Arjuna level, it can be a confusion. Today, it's much more confused. That is why you have to be very clear with our understanding. Only our understanding can help. Understanding of Vedanta and understanding the reality of our life. We have to be very, very thorough in that. Then only we can, without getting confused, we will be able to study, understand, be happy, be at peace with ourselves wherever we are, whatever we are. So that is the ultimate. The objective ultimately Vedanta is your reality. And you cannot say, I will not understand my reality. Whatever be the society, I cannot say that I cannot understand my reality, I will live. That is going to be a non-starter. You have to understand the reality, there is no choice. That is what we have to understand going through this 18th chapter. Yeah.
Swamiji, this karma palatyaga, we have read in chapter 4, no? Janakadeha, when he
Yeah,
talks
12th
about
chapter also it comes. Janakadeha is there.
So they are
Janakadeha
all
is the basically the Ashtavakra Gita talks very seriously about it. Where he says ultimately, Janaka finally he says, I don't belong to any ashram.
okay.
He says, I'm anashrami. I
Anashram.
don't, I don't look
Either
at
a
myself as
grihastha
a
nor a
grasta
sannyasi.
or a sannyasi or a, because ultimately what it is, your identification with the reality is the most important. That is what he is coming to. He says, I am a disidentified person. I understand my reality is the Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam, the being. While that is there, there is no, for the being, there is no ashrama. Because there is no body only, there is no thing is the reality. For that, where is the ashrama? There is no ashrama possible. That is what the idea is. By this, all these 4 ashramas, you are supposed to graduate into that. The sannyasi is supposed to be with that understanding. That is why everything is nyasam. But thereafter, finally, even if you go to Dasasloki and Shankara and all that, na guru, na sishya, na shastram, na ashramam. Everything is finally removed. Ashram also is just only for the society purpose. Okay, for people to relate to you, you need some identification. So, sannyasa, ashrama, name and all are given so that people can relate. But as far as internally is concerned, once the understanding is there, is anashrami. So, Janaka was able to, by the dialogue with Ashtavakra, he was able to establish that he is an anashrami. He was not belonging to Grasthashrama or the Sannyasa Ashrama. He is an anashrami. Anashrami meaning he has grown above all that. He is a disidentified person. Yeah, that is what I am saying. Finally, what is important is understanding. So, very elaborately, Mandukya Upanishad also tells all in the sense in your sleep, what is you are anashrami only. Every day when you go to sleep, all of us are anashramis. 50% of the world is anashrami and sleep. Because at that time there is no identification completely. And when you wake up, if you can retain that disidentified situation for at least 1 minute before you start the day, then you will understand that you are basically an ashrami. And then what you do is only for the purpose of worldly transaction, you take up the roles. Right from your name onwards. You start with I am, and then you say so and so, and then you start your day. Before that, what? As you wake up, you are just the awareful being, minus the tamas or the vidya which was there in the sleep. If you had you have understood thoroughly, when you go to sleep also you will be anashrami, but in sleep you won't know that even you are not an ashrami or anashrami. Even that knowledge won't be there because your faculties are totally down. But when you get up, Since you went into sleep that I am an ashrami, you will also wake up that I am an ashrami for that moment. And then you will take up your ashrama duties wherever you are. Whether you are a sannyasi or whether you are a grahastha or a grachila, you will take up that role. You must be able to do that. So the reality, your reality is an ashram. With that you must go to sleep. And with that you must wake up. And that has to come out of understanding. It is not just meditating. It is contemplation. It is understanding. Contemplation can be done only on what you know already, for sure. So that is how, if you know very sure after going through the Gita, I think chapter, you understand very clearly that my reality is anashtami, meaning desa kala vastu aparichinnam. I am timeless, spaceless, objectless being. With that, you must be able to go to sleep and wake up like that, and then take up roles. So this is how ultimately the understanding has to. That is what you have to harness. That is what you have to contemplate upon. But first you have to understand, then you can contemplate. Because without understanding, what will you contemplate? You can only just keep your mind tight without any thoughts. That way, Swami always used to say, if you go meditation as a fool, you will come out as a fool only. You are not going to be intelligent. So first you have to understand what is the reality, and then go to contemplation and retain that, and come out with that same understanding and play roles. This is how our life, that way it becomes complete. So let us see. You will also explain various ways.
Om
Maya Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om